Hi there. Good morning. Welcome to Breakfast with Bridgett. I'm your host, Bridgett Ellison, and it's 7:30 on the dot here on this June 12th, 2024. We appreciate you being with us. And, we have a lot to get to this morning. We have a live interview with CFC Arts Community Choir, and we're looking forward to a big show they have this weekend at the DPAC. Today, also marking 8 years since the Pulse tragedy. So we'll be taking a look at the events happening today, remembering the victims and honoring those who are living on 8 years since that tragedy. But first, we want to get you out the door. It is another inconvenient weather day, and meteorologist Candace Campos is in the Pinpoint Weather Center helping us get ready. So we still, like you said, keep that umbrella handy. But what's the setup for today looking like?
It's really going to be the same system as yesterday. So yesterday was kind of all the moisture ahead of it. Today is going to be all the moisture kind of centered around that low. And then tomorrow and Friday is going to be all the moisture on the back end of this system. So it's all this basically it's a surface low that finally developed yesterday afternoon. That is also gaining the attention a little more of the National Hurricane Center. It is now called an invest, this area of low pressure. That means that it's a system that we're now starting to investigate a little more. So we get those computer models, those spaghetti models. We start to get a little more information about that. But in the meantime, regardless of what it's going to do in the next few days tropically when it comes to its development, it's still going to be bringing us a whole lot of rain over the next couple of days. So let's take it to the maps, show you what's going on. Look how much rainfall, Bridgett, has fallen already just within the last 24 hours. Significant rain, about an inch of rain in Cocoa Beach, about 3/4 of an inch there in Kissimmee, a little in and around half an inch along the I-4 corridor. But look at Cape Canaveral. They racked up in just 24 hours more than 4 inches of rainfall. And more is coming as we continue into the afternoon. So, because of that, we are once again designating today an inconvenient weather day. Although it might be inconvenient, it's still beneficial and certainly will help a lot of our lawns and, of course, helping our drought concerns as we're still in that moderate drought across a big portion of central Florida. Rain chances today do go up to about a 70 to 80%. And although it's not expected to be any severe weather, the potential for flooding still in the forecast. We saw some of that yesterday, especially around that area of those 4 inches of rain. So that's that area of low pressure that we're talking about there. You can see it there on the top side of your screen. I kind of elevated a little bit there, but we'll continue to crisscross the state over the next few hours. But behind the system, we're still going to continue to see a big old blob of moisture that will keep kind of lingering in the forecast throughout the rest of the week. So the National Hurricane Center will send up another update in less than about 30 minutes at 8 a.m. But this is the latest round that the NHC is highlighting this area. See the little X there? That's basically where the system is now. And they're expecting it to develop in that yellow area there at about a 20% chance of development in the next 7 days, as conditions will be a little more conducive for some slow development there. But again, that will be all set and done with it by that time. Looking here at the clouds and rain forecast, we're going to continue to stream in that moisture. This model run has been holding on to the rain coming in about 10, 11 o'clock in the morning, but we've been dealing with it already this morning. So again, the timing is kind of hard to really pinpoint tropical moisture as it kind of comes in waves. It's not a sea breeze driven storm. It's not a cold front coming through central Florida. This is really very sporadic and very tropical in nature, which is why you'll have times where it is raining crazy and then it'll stop for a little bit. And then a few hours later, it'll rain like crazy again. And that's exactly what's going to happen today. I like this shot right here because you could kind of see where that low is, where that void, and you can see kind of that rotation just a little bit there with our modeling, as most of the moisture will be pushing out later on this evening before sundown. That low will start to push away. But just because it's pushing away, it's not dragging in dry air just yet. We're going to keep tapping into that residual tropical moisture still on the backside of that system that will keep rain chances high throughout Thursday and Friday as well. So we're really going to be racking up a whole lot of rain. So in the next 3 days, we're still talking about 3 to 5 inches across a big portion of central Florida. Can't rule out the chance of maybe 5 to 7 inches in some of those isolated amounts across south counties there, primarily Osceola and Brevard. So as we take you here hour by hour, you guessed it, wet roads, rainy conditions, coverage at 70%. But hey, at least temperatures are cooler than normal in the mid 80s. And as we get results here with your full 7-day forecast, we're going to continue to stay below average throughout the next couple of days, all thanks to the rain. We're going to start seeing moisture levels dip a little bit by the weekend, not completely drying us out, but at least it won't be as unsettled all day. And that will allow temperatures to creep back up to near normal, to near 90 degrees, just in time for your Father's Day. And then coming up after Breakfast with Bridget, we've got Weather Wise with Jonathan Kegas, and he's going to be breaking down some interesting stats, Bridget, on how many times we've hit above 95 degrees already this year. And
Mm-hmm.
when you start comparing it to the average and comparing to last year, it's pretty impressive. So seeing temperatures at least in the 80s for a nice little
Yeah.
stretch is certainly some welcome news across most of Central Florida.
And, there's always a caveat with our weather too, because we've been talking about how much we needed rain over the past couple
Hmm.
weeks. And now we're getting the rain. And, we are getting in some of these weather videos. We're also hearing about some of the
Yeah.
neighborhoods, a little worried about flood prone areas. So there was some pretty impressive flooding in Daytona Beach.
Yeah, I mean, and as you saw with the my first graphic I showed you, I mean, we picked up like 2 to 4 inches, and of course, it's also very isolated too. So maybe
Hmm.
the airport reported an inch of rain, but areas around the airport in Daytona Beach could have racked up rain like this. It's very tropical. So it's
Yeah.
not an extremely organized system, so it's not a complete washout of a day. But I mean, yesterday was really hard to plan anything because you never knew kind of when the rain was coming. You couldn't do that like get out earlier rather than later. None of
Yeah.
those typical summer setups that we have. So, I mean,
And
this
flash
and
floodings catch people by surprise because it's just one of those things. It's here one moment, super dangerous, and
Mhm.
then, maybe an hour or so later, it's dissipated. But in those moments, people have to really be careful, especially if you're out driving around and you come into one of these areas.
It is pricey to fix your car after you've basically killed the engine with
Waterlogged
all
it.
the rain. Oh yeah, you
Yeah.
waterlog it. So at the end of the day, I kind of talked about it quickly this morning on the morning show. Is this is very short term flooding. This is not a big tropical hurricane that is going to be bringing
Right.
15, 20 inches in one night. This is
Mhm.
something that the flooding is just because the ground can't keep up with the rain. Our ground is primed and it's ready to get all that rain into our aquifer. The only problem is that you just got to give it a little bit of time. A lot of that flooding didn't last very long. I mean, obviously, some of the heaviest of stuff obviously takes a little longer, but just give it some time. If you
Yeah.
can, just either find a route around it, but just don't be driving through that. You just never know how deep it is. You also don't know what you're really driving over or driving into. So just give yourself a little extra patience. This is short term, short lived
Yeah.
flooding that kind of comes in pretty quick. But if you just give the ground enough time to kind of absorb that rainwater, we should be good to go.
Yeah, and that was video from Chris Cummings out of Daytona Beach. So, of course, we love
Great
when people
video.
send in the weather videos and pictures and they can
Bring
pin
it.
them and
Yes.
send them in that way so we can show them just like that. And also I noticed that a neighborhood in Longwood was putting out sand for
Mhm.
sandbags.
Yeah, they're
So,
a little more flood prone, so they have a little bit more of a like a kind of a dip in their neighborhood. So it
mhm,
tends to so it's neighbors helping neighbors and the community
mhm,
helping itself and try to be as proactive as possible. Listen, at the end of the day, a lot of these homeowners could get those sandbags and then if they don't need them,
right.
then they can
Just hold
easily
on to
store
it.
them, hold them because
Better to
you're
have and
bound to
not
have
need it.
another flooding
Mhm.
threat in the next couple months. I can guarantee you that.
Right. Yeah. And it's like the sandbags don't stop the flood, but it slows it down to like a
Slows it down
seep.
just a little bit.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
All right. Thanks, Candace.
You're welcome.
And you turned off your sprinklers, so congrats to you.
Woohoo.
All right. So Trooper Steve is off today. So we won't be headed out in results one right now. So we'll get back to him next week. But we want to get to some news, of course, and then we have a great live interview coming up. Hooray for Hollywood! It's a big show at the DPAC this weekend. The tickets start at just $20. I can't wait to share more with you about that in just a few minutes. But first, of course, we have to recognize it has been 8 years since Pulse. This is a somber day for us here in Central Florida and across the country because this was a deadly mass shooting and it happened at Pulse nightclub in Orlando, just in the south. the south downtown area of Orlando, and we lost 49 lives that night, and dozens more people were hurt, and so many, hundreds and thousands of others impacted in that wave. Since then, the gunmen stormed into the club in the early morning hours of June 12th, 2016. News 6's Ezzy Castro is here with our coverage this morning of several events that are planned for later today honoring the victims.
It's hard to believe it's been 8 years since the Pulse tragedy, but it has been. In hours and days and weeks and months following the tragedy.
Orlando Mayor Buddy Dyer is asking people in the community to join together as today marks 8 years since the Pulse nightclub shooting, where 49 people were killed. Over the last several days, the city has held events to honor the victims and their families. One of those events, the annual Community Rainbow Run, which the mayor says was started by UCF students in an effort to help with healing.
It is critically important, though, to recognize the next few days will be incredibly difficult for many in our community and beyond.
Victims are also being honored with an exhibition of prayer ribbons outside of City Hall and a remembrance ceremony that will be taking place at the Dr. Phillips Center for the Performing Arts later tonight.
I want to remind everyone that the tragedy disproportionately impacted the LGBTQ plus community, the Latinx, immigrant, Black, and other communities of color. By coming together at remembrance events, our community stands with those that were impacted.
And of course, we'll have continuing coverage of all those events happening today, marking this 8 years later since Pulse. And of course, you can go to clickorlando.com to get all the details if you would like to look into some more of the times and locations of everything, so you can share that with everyone today as we continue to remember and try to heal since that tragedy. Also, want to note a major court decision against Governor DeSantis and Florida lawmakers. A federal judge struck down parts of a new state law that was banning giving things like puberty blockers to transgender minors. News 6's Mark Lehman is explaining why the governor is already vowing to appeal that decision.
Several pieces of Florida's ban on gender transition treatments have been shot down by a federal judge in Tallahassee. According to the ruling, a ban on puberty blockers and hormone therapy to minors has been overturned, as well as a mandate that all adult treatments be prescribed and performed by a physician.
These doctors are now going to be free to provide this care, and according to the ruling at least, there was a substantial amount of evidence.
Managing partner at TK Law, attorney Raymond Trenley, says the judge cited reasons why the care was needed.
The state's own experts said that this treatment is necessary and that transgender youth have a higher incidence of depression, suicide, anxiety, and so that some of this treatment is necessary to protect them.
Some parts of the law, however, remain in place, like a ban on gender transition surgery for minors and a ban on using state funds for transgender treatments. The governor's office, meanwhile, opposes the court's ruling. A spokesperson for Ron DeSantis saying these procedures do permanent, life-altering damage to children, and history will look back on this fad in horror. Florida will continue to fight to ensure children are not chemically or physically mutilated in the name of radical, new age gender ideology.
And we'll continue to keep you posted on any of the latest developments with that. Also, some jobs news this morning. We have hundreds of high-paying jobs soon coming out to the Daytona Beach area. This is with Boeing announcing that they're opening a major research center at Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University. And News 6's Molly Reed has more on the impact that this will have on the students as well as the surrounding area.
These are going to be well-paying jobs and expand the aerospace industry here in Volusia County. Boeing says it's going to be filling this new aerospace engineering center with over 400 engineers.
Of working on everything from space and satellites to, to military equipment.
And this is what the CC and Hyatt Brown Center for Aerospace Technology will look like once it's done. Boeing will be the newest tenant in Embry-Riddle's research park, paid for by a $25 million donation from the Browns and $25 million match from the state.
Typically, that's just not our focus because, we have a state university system. So to get us to support something private like this at that level, we would only do that if there's clearly benefits for the state of Florida.
Boeing says it will hire the first 200 workers as soon as the facility opens, then the next 200 over the next 2 years. They'll be making over $100,000.
Graduates get to come and enter into our workforce. Hopefully, we're also going to recruit talent from the area as well.
The partnership announced today with the hopes of it being symbiotic, with job and internship opportunities for students right on campus, too.
The one part of being a student that really adds to your future opportunities is having an internship. And having an internship with a place like Boeing is pretty impressive on your resume.
And the construction is supposed to be done with the center opening officially this fall. In Daytona Beach, Volusia County, I'm Molly Reed, getting results, News 6.
So that's some positive news to hear this morning about all those jobs coming in, and of course, Embry-Riddle getting a great addition there. So now on to Hooray for Hollywood. We want to take you out to a big show this weekend with Central Florida Community Arts Choir. And joining us this morning, Kat Johnson, member ambassador and performer in the choir, as well as artistic director John Machoni, joining us live. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
It's so exciting to hear about this latest production. Of course, the CFC Community Arts Choir celebrating 14 years. And so you've had just so many different themes of performances over the years. And so it gets bigger and better. And what's happening this weekend with this big show?
It does get bigger and better. We are right here in Orlando. Central Florida Community Arts is home to the largest community choir in the entire country. You'll hear more people singing incredible, fun, joyous music that makes you feel good than you can see anywhere else in the country. About 260 singers, over 60 musicians, bringing together the greatest hits from Hollywood. Everything from Over the Rainbow from Wizard of Oz to This Is Me from The Greatest Showman to music from Star Wars. You name it, we're going to pack a gorgeous concert hall with people right here from our community, putting on an absolutely stunning concert. 2 concerts this weekend, Saturday night at 7:30, Sunday afternoon at 3. Tickets starting at only $20. It's an incredible chance to come out, support your community, hear incredible music, and have a little bit of fun this weekend.
Now, is this video from a different show, or is this rehearsal video that we're watching?
That is a rehearsal video from the last time that Central Florida Community Arts was in Steinmetz Hall. This past fall, we presented a concert called Symphonic Disney. We sold out that room, packed it full with people who love supporting Orlando and live music. And we know we're gonna have 2 really full rooms this weekend as well. Tickets are still available, but you don't want to miss a chance to be in that room with all of us.
So it's in Steinmetz again.
Yes, in Steinmetz Hall at the Dr. Phillips Center. But you can get tickets on our website, cfcarts.com/events is the easiest way to get tickets.
And that is such an impressive facility there, and so unique in the way that it's been designed and the sound. And so this is 300 people, 50-piece orchestra, dancers too.
Dancers, actors, soloists. Kat is in our choir. She's also one of the soloists. You're going to hear her sing a phenomenal rendition of This Is Me from The Greatest Showman that's going to wow you. So yeah, we pull out all of the stops. It's a beautiful room, and it's going to be an incredible concert.
Kat, what's it like being in there performing, and what is it, what is it that you get from being a part of this group? I'm sure you have a long resume, but what is it like to be a part of this specific choir?
It's amazing. It's like one big happy family community. I've been with the choir now since 2016 is when I first joined. And I actually joined because I went and saw my cousin in their Christmas show. That's where I found about CFC Arts, and found that I actually had many friends that were involved in the choir. So I get to sing not only with friends I've known for years, but also with my family as well. So, but in general, the choir itself just feels like one big happy family. It's like a reunion every time we start rehearsals after a show's ended. We can't wait to see each other again.
And so how long have you been working on this particular performance for this weekend?
We started rehearsals, I believe, towards like the end of January. is when we started
Yeah.
rehearsals for this.
The choir
And we
gathered in late
again,
January.
again,
Sorry,
we only
Kat.
rehearse one night a week. So we've had uh, a long time to rehearse, but we have a lot of pieces, things that I'm excited to sing, like the Mamma Mia medley. We have some music from Star Wars. So if you're a big Star Wars fan, you'll love this. It's amazing.
And so the tickets start at just $20, which is a great value for, coming out with your friends and family and just a gorgeous facility for experiencing something like this, a show like this.
Oh yeah, $20 is a bargain for what you're going to get. Like I said, we have a 300-person choir, of 50-piece orchestra, dancers, actors. It's going to be it's going to be a spectacle. I will say that. And if you love music from movies, you'll love this show, because it goes
Yeah.
from anything from Singing in the Rain to, as I said, like Mamma Mia or La La Land.
Oh, wow. I was just thinking La La Land. So, I mean, it's something for everyone if you love music and musicals.
Mm-hmm.
And this,
Absolutely. No
Definitely.
matter who you bring with you, they're going to have a great time. We know this weekend is also Father's Day, so if you're looking for a way to beat the heat, bring your dad. Bring your dad. We got a little bit of everything, and you're going to enjoy it with the entire family. But just like Kat, everyone you see on stage calls Orlando home. They're from right here in Central Florida. They are your friends, your neighbors. The amount of talent in this city, in this community, is amazing. And getting the chance to share the stage with them and be in a beautiful concert hall with 350 of your friends and neighbors performing like this, it really is an incredible feeling. Something we hope you all come out and experience.
and anyone can be a part of this. So you have people with a wide variety of experience. Talk about that and how people can join, and get involved and maybe make it into the next show that you have.
We do. Just like Kat came to see one of our shows and then said, you know what? I know a lot of folks. I'd love to get involved. We are constantly accepting new members. We don't turn anyone away. It's part of the reason that our choir and our orchestra are both the largest community groups in the country, is because we want, if you want to belong somewhere, we would love to have you. So we'll be starting our summer rehearsals right at the end of June and the very beginning of July. You can get more details on our website at cfcarts.com. And if you're interested in singing, playing an instrument, being a part of our community, giving back, having something fun to look forward to doing on Monday nights, we would love to see you. Singers 18 and up, all ages, all experiences levels. It doesn't matter if you read music. We accept everybody. We figure it out from there. Same thing with musicians. As long as you are 16 and up, if you want to join an orchestra, if you want to be a part of a large community and feel what it feels like to just be together, doing something exciting with your friends and neighbors, check us out, cfcarts.com. We'll be launching into our next season here in just a couple of weeks.
That's an exciting thing to hear. You said 16, so that means even high school students who maybe are working on their craft and really into the arts can get involved even before they're graduating high school.
Absolutely, yes. That's kind of new for us as we're approaching this fall season. We want to make sure that we have an opportunity for those advanced students to sit alongside their teachers and their friends and their neighbors and their parents and really do something together as a family or a community. So cfcarts.com is where you can sign up to get involved in any of our seasons. But if you want to know what it's going to feel like, this weekend is the best chance to see that. Saturday night, 7:30, Sunday afternoon, 3 o'clock at the beautiful Dr. Phillips Center. You'll get to experience this community. And once you're in the room, I think like Kat, you'll say, I want more of that in my life. How do I get on stage?
Yeah. And Justin, so as artistic director, can you give us a tease of some of the other, themes or shows you're working on, moving into the next seasons?
Absolutely. This summer, we're going to be doing 2 seasons kind of parallel with each other. We're going to give our choir and our orchestra a chance to dig into some more classical music, some things that we don't often do. We tend to do big pops themed concerts. So we'll be doing some Beethoven and Brahms and Mozart this summer. And then our parallel season is going to be all about jazz. We're going to have our big band and other members of our choir singing everything from Duke Ellington to Benny Goodman to music from Chicago. It's going to be an incredible concert. But this fall season, our choir will start to work on their annual holiday extravaganza. Every December, our choir puts on the largest and most phenomenal Christmas experience in early December. So they'll start working on a show we call Around the World at Christmas this year. And our orchestra is working towards an all video game music concert in November, where we're going to put 300 musicians on stage playing everything from Super Mario Brothers all the way up through the games of today with an orchestra. We call it 8-bit to epic, the music and video games. So we constantly have new shows we're working on, new rehearsals, new ways to engage our community. So yeah, it's a great time to get involved.
Very awesome. So we'll see you this weekend at the Deep Pack. Kat, Justin, break a leg. And we'll talk to you soon.
Thank you very much.
Thanks. Take care. So that sounds like a whole lot of fun. And I think, I'm over here at a different station today. So I'm looking at Kathleen. Hey, Kathleen, I got to say bye-bye. She's like, bye. So we're out of time for now. But of course, clickorlando.com and News 6 Plus for all the extra details. And I'll see you at noon. Weatherwise with Jonathan Kegas is up next. Take care.